A little bit ago, I made a tier list ranking every single Pea shooter in Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. In it, I went through ranking each Pea based on several different aspects of the character. The Pea shooter class was one of my favorites, and I had a lot of fun doing that one, so now I'm going to rank my second favorite class, the Foot Soldier. Also, a quick disclaimer, keep in mind these are all my opinions and they don't just take into account how well a character performs in combat, but also things like how fun they generally are to play in the game or how creative the idea of the character is. Without further ado, let's step our feet into this tier list. First up, we have the Camo Soldier. Now, this guy is very different from your typical Foot Soldier. Instead of having a fast-firing assault rifle type gun, he instead has a slow-firing sniper rifle. I personally think this is a really great idea since there aren't really many snipers on the zombie side other than Captain Deadbeard. I also wanted to mention that although we are only ranking his appearance in Garden Warfare 2, he was pretty much the only sniper zombie character in the first game, which means if you wanted to snipe as a zombie, you pretty much had to play as him in the first game. The only major downside to him is that he can't really do that much in close quarter combat. All in all, this guy's a really good character, so I'm going to put him in A tier. Next up, we have the guy whose name is impossible to pronounce, and that's the Centurion. I don't really have much to say about this guy. He's very similar to the Camo Soldier with his slow-firing gun, but I kind of think he's worse. Although his attacks have a fire buff damage on them, his base attack does a lot less damage than the Camo Soldier, and he also has a lot less range on his bullet. Just because this guy's pretty much just a worse version of an already existing character, I'm gonna unfortunately have to put him all the way down in C tier. Next up, we have the one, the only, the OG, the super base Foot Soldier. This guy's honestly not that bad of a character. The OG Foot Soldier uses a fast-firing but close-range assault rifle as his primary weapon. If you're really good at tracking enemies, this guy is your guy. He does a lot of damage. He also has a pretty large magazine clip, so you'll most likely have a lot of ammo to spare. The only downside I'd say this guy has is that he really doesn't have a lot of range, but that's typically not a problem when you're playing as a Foot Soldier because you have a lot of abilities that easily allow you to close in on people. Ultimately, this guy's definitely going to go at the very top of A tier. Next up, we have Arctic Soldier, and I'm just going to go out and say this, but this guy's definitely going at the very top of S tier. I might be slightly biased, but this is my favorite character in the entire game. Everything about him is great, from his freezing ability to the very satisfying sound effect of his gun. In my opinion, this guy is better than the original Foot Soldier. I can understand if you think the OG Foot Soldier is better because he does have more ammo in his gun and his base attack does more damage, but I think the freeze effect is really good, especially on chompers and citrons. So I'm putting him at the top of S tier, even if I'm a little bit biased. Now, this next Foot Soldier is most likely going to be the worst Foot Soldier on this tier list, and that's unfortunately going to be the General Supremo. This guy has a lot of problems with him. I'm going to start with the main one, that being his incredibly long windup for his gun. Yeah, you have to wait forever before you can even start shooting as this guy, and he also has an overheating ability as well. If you're any farther than point blank range, it's almost impossible to hit your shots with this guy because the accuracy on his gun is absolutely terrible. There really isn't anything good about this guy other than his infinite ammo, but his overheat happens so quickly that I don't even think infinite ammo even matters. I think it's very clear that this guy's the worst Foot Soldier in the entire game, so I'm putting him at the bottom of the list in F tier. This next Foot Soldier isn't technically a Foot Soldier you can play as in either of the two Garden Warfare games, but I just kind of wanted to rank him anyways because I thought he was really interesting, and that's the robotic Foot Soldier enemy you can find in the Garden Ops game modes. Now, this guy's physical attacks and abilities aren't very different from the original Foot Soldier, just with him having a little bit more damage per shot and also having more health. But I would say that this guy would have made a very cool skin, and I think if they do update Garden Warfare 2 again, this guy should be a skin for one of the Foot Soldiers. I'm not going to officially rank this guy because he's not an actual playable character or anything, but if I were to give him some sort of rank, it'd probably be just above the original Foot Soldier just because he is a better version of the normal Foot Soldier in every single way, but I would say that this guy would have been a cool character to play as in some sense, so if they do update the game again, I hope that they bring him back in some way. Anyways, next up we have the Park Ranger, and although this guy is playable, he's kind of mid. He doesn't really have any major downsides to him, but his ability is pretty bad. He has a slower firing version of the Foot Soldier's gun, but his bullets leave behind small poison clouds that deal a lot of damage. Now, this sounds good, and it would be if not for the fact that these clouds take absolutely forever to form, meaning that unless the person you're fighting is some random toddler trying to form a connection with their last 2 brain cells, then your opponent's most likely just going to move a few feet to the left and dodge these clouds. This pretty much just makes this guy a slightly worse version of the Foot Soldier. Now, don't get me wrong, this guy's absolutely amazing in Graveyard Ops when you're trying to fight AIs who don't know how to move out of the way, but in actual online multiplayer with real people, this guy's just meh at best. For that, he's gonna go into B tier. As we near the end of the list, we now have the Scuba Soldier. Let me say, this guy's absolutely amazing. He has 2 shots in his mag, which each do an enormous amount of damage. Now, I wouldn't really use him at far range, but at close range, he's an absolute beast. 2 shots from this guy takes out a good majority of the plants in the game, and 2 headshots practically decimates every other plant, other than maybe some citrons. As if he wasn't already good enough, his sonar bullets also have an added capability of being able to scan plants from a certain radius around them. This guy's an absolute beast, and I would heavily recommend using him, so he's definitely going in S tier. Next up, we have the Super Commando. This guy's abso-frickin-lutely cracked out of his mind. He's so good. It's not even funny. He only has 4 shots on his mag, each doing around 12 damage, and you might think this guy's a nightmare to play as because it must take forever to kill someone, but it's actually the opposite. This guy shoots all 4 bullets in a burst shot almost instantly, and then reloads at the speed of light. You pretty much never have to reload as him because his reload speed is just that quick. This guy, without any doubt, is the best Foot Soldier in the entire game, so he's going to go at the very top of S tier. Second to last, we have the Sky Trooper. I'm going to be quick with this one, because he's almost the exact same as the normal Foot Soldier, just a tad bit worse. There are 2 major differences between this guy and the OG Soldier, being his ammo and his range. This guy does have more ammo than the normal Foot Soldier, but his accuracy and range is a lot worse. I wouldn't blame you if you like this guy better, but I personally prefer to play Foot Soldiers at a farther range, which is why I'm going to put this guy below the Foot Soldier in B tier. Lastly, we have the Tank Commander. Now, this guy varies a lot with skill level. He could literally be one of the best zombies in the entire game, or one of the worst. It's very hard to master this guy because of how hard it is to hit your shots. That being said though, if you can consistently hit headshots as this guy, you can pretty much one-shot almost any plant in the game. I would say that this guy and Scuba Soldier are very similar, and this guy can definitely be better, but I think Scuba Soldier is more consistent, which is why I'm putting this guy in C tier. Just because the majority of people suck at him, and Scuba Soldier is a lot easier with similar results. Thank you guys so much for watching. These tier list videos have been really fun, but tell me if you guys want to see me do other tier lists on a different game, or if you want me to do something entirely different than a ranking video. If you want to see any other videos by me, click on one of the boxes on the screen right now. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, adios!